ACA 12 Steps. 1. We admitted we were powerless over the effects of alcoholism or other family dysfunction, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand God. 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7. Humbly ask God to remove our shortcomings. 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10. Continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understand God, praying only for knowledge of God's will for us and the power to carry that out. 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to others who still suffer, and to practice these principles in all our affairs.
The laundry list. 1. We became isolated and afraid of people and authority figures. 2. We became approval seekers and lost our identity in the process. 3. We are frightened by angry people and any personal criticism. 4. We either become alcoholics, marry them, or both, or find another compulsive personality, such as a workaholic, to fulfill our sick abandonment needs. 5. We live life from the viewpoint of victims and are attracted by that weakness in our love and friendship relationships. 6. We have an overdeveloped sense of responsibility, and it is easier for us to be concerned with others rather than ourselves. This enables us to not look too closely at our own faults, etc. 7. We get guilt feelings when we stand up for ourselves instead of giving in to others. 8. We become addicted to excitement. 9. We confuse love and pity and tend to love people we can pity and rescue. 10. We have stuffed our feelings from our traumatic childhoods and have lost the ability to feel or express our feelings because it hurts so much. Denial. 11. We judge ourselves harshly and have a very low sense of self-esteem. 12. We are dependent personalities who are terrified of abandonment and will do anything to hold on to a relationship in order to not experience painful abandonment feelings, which we received from living with sick people who were never there emotionally for us. 13. Alcoholism is a family disease, and we become para-alcoholics and took on the characteristics of that disease even though we did not pick up the drink. 14. Para-alcoholics are actors rather than actors.
The problem. Many of us found that we had several characteristics in common as a result of being brought up in an alcoholic or dysfunctional household. We had come to feel isolated and uneasy with other people, especially authority figures. To protect ourselves, we became people pleasers, even though we lost our own identities in the process. All the same, we would mistake any personal criticism as a threat. We either became alcoholics or practiced other addictive behavior ourselves, or married them, or both. Failing that, we found other compulsive personalities, such as a workaholic, to fulfill our sick need for abandonment. We live life from the standpoint of victims. Having an overdeveloped sense of responsibility, we prefer to be concerned with others rather than ourselves. We got guilt feelings when we stood up for ourselves rather than giving in to others. Thus, we became reactors rather than actors, letting others take the initiative. We were dependent personalities, terrified of abandonment, willing to do almost anything to hold on to a relationship in order not to be abandoned emotionally. Yet we kept choosing insecure relationships because they matched our childhood relationships with alcoholic or dysfunctional parents. These symptoms of the family disease of alcoholism or other dysfunction made us co-victims. those who take on the characteristics of the disease without necessarily ever taking a drink. We learn to keep our feelings down as children and kept them buried as adults. As a result of this conditioning, we confused love with pity, tending to love those we could rescue. Even more self-defeating, we became addicted to excitement in all our affairs, preferring constant upset to workable relationships. This is a description, not an indictment.
The other laundry list from the Adult Children of Alcoholics and Dysfunctional Families World Service Organization. 1. To cover our fear of people and our dread of isolation, we tragically become the very authority figures who frighten others and cause them to withdraw. 2. To avoid becoming enmeshed and entangled with other people and losing ourselves in the process, we become rigidly self-sufficient. We disdain the approval of others. 3. We frighten people with our anger and threat of political criticism. 4. We dominate others and abandon them before they can abandon us, or we avoid relationships with dependent people altogether. To avoid being hurt, we isolate and dissociate and thereby abandon ourselves. 5. We live life from the standpoint of a victimizer and are attracted to people we can manipulate and control in our important relationships. 6. We are irresponsible and self-centered. Our inflated sense of self-worth and self-importance prevents us from seeing our deficiencies and shortcomings. 7. We make others feel guilty when they attempt to assert themselves. 8. We inhibit our fear by staying deadened and numb. 9. We hate people who play the victim and beg to be rescued. 10. We deny that we've been hurt and are suppressing our emotions by the dramatic expression of pseudo-feelings. 11. To protect ourselves from self-punishment for failing to save the family, we project our self-hate onto others and punish them instead. 12. We manage the massive amount of deprivation we feel coming from abandonment within the home by quickly letting go of relationships that threaten our independence. Not too close. 13. We refuse to admit we've been affected by family dysfunction, or that there was dysfunction in the home, or that we have internalized any of the family's destructive attitudes and behaviors. 14. We act as if we are nothing like the dependent people who raised us.
The solution. The solution is to become your own loving parent. As ACA becomes a safe place for you, you will find freedom to express all the hurts and fears that you have kept inside and to free yourself from the shame and blame that are carryovers from the past. You will become an adult who is imprisoned no longer by childhood reactions. You will recover the child within you, learning to love and accept yourself. The healing begins when we risk moving out of isolation. Feelings and buried memories will return. By gradually releasing the burden of unexpressed grief, we slowly move out of the past. We learn to reparent ourselves with gentleness, humor, love, and respect. This process allows us to see our biological parents as the instruments of our existence. Our actual parent is a higher power, whom some of us choose to call God. Although we had alcoholic or dysfunctional parents, our higher power gave us the 12 steps of recovery. This is the action and work that heals us. We use the steps, we use the meetings, we use the telephone. We share our experience, strength, and hope with each other. We learn to restructure our sick thinking one day at a time. When we release our parents from responsibility for our actions today, we become free to make helpful decisions as actors, not reactors. We progress from hurting to healing to helping. We awaken to a sense of wholeness we never knew was possible. By attending these meetings on a regular basis, you will come to see parental alcoholism or family dysfunction for what it is, a disease that infected you as a child and continues to affect you as an adult. You will learn to keep the focus on yourself and the here and now. You will take responsibility for your own life and supply your own parenting. You will not do this alone. Look around you and you will see others who know how you feel, who will love and encourage you no matter what. We ask you to accept us just as we accept you. This is a spiritual program based on action coming from love. We are sure that as the love grows inside you, you will see beautiful changes in all your relationships, especially with God, yourself, and your parents.
Tony A's version of the 12 steps. 1. We admitted we were powerless over the effects of living with alcoholism and that our lives had become unmanageable. 2. We came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could bring us clarity. 3. We made a decision to practice self-love and to trust in the higher power of our understanding. 4. We made a searching and blameless inventory of our parents because, in essence, we had become them. 5. We admitted to a higher power, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our childhood abandonment. 6. We were entirely ready to begin the healing process with the aid of our higher power. 7. We humbly asked our higher power to help us with our healing process. 8. We became willing to open ourselves to receive the unconditional love of our higher power. 9. We became willing to accept our own unconditional love by understanding that our higher power loves us unconditionally. 10. We continue to take personal inventory and to love and improve of ourselves. 11. We sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with our higher power, praying only for knowledge of its will for us and the power to carry it out. 12. We have had a spiritual awakening as a result of taking these steps, and we continue to love ourselves and to practice these principles in all our affairs.
These are the ACA promises. 1. We will discover our real identities by loving and accepting ourselves. 2. Our self-esteem will increase as we give ourselves approval on a daily basis. 3. Fear of authority figures and the need to people please will leave us. 4. Our ability to share intimacy will grow inside of us. 5. As we face our abandonment issues, we will be attracted by strengths and become more tolerant of weaknesses. 6. We will enjoy feeling stable, peaceful, and financially secure. 7. We will learn how to play and have fun in our lives. 8. We will choose to love people who can love and be responsible for themselves. 9. Healthy boundaries and limits will become easier for us to set. 10. Fears of failures and successes will leave us as we intuitively make healthier choices. 11. With the help of our ACA support group, we will slowly release our dysfunctional behaviors. And 12. Gradually, with our higher power's help, we will learn to expect the best and get it.